Hi guys, what's going on? Please excuse my little funky hair right now. I don't know what's going on. I've been indoors for too long. So I just been putting together a video compiling all these different thoughts and ideas and perspectives from different leaders in D3. A lot of them have been really close friends to me, and some of them I've been able to work with on mixers and events. And I think for you, the viewer, the future of D3, whatever club you are in, I think you can extract some value from these insights that these people have to share. I remember when I was on Eboard and I really wanted that kind of guidance, that mentorship. That doesn't necessarily mean everything they say is right. Not everything is perfect for your club, for your situation. But I think even one bit of information in this video, it could spark something for you. Maybe it's an insight you never thought of before, and it could greatly help your club overall. So make sure to watch the rest of this video. I've also compiled numerous one-on-one interviews with these individuals, a lot more long-form content. So if you kind of vibe with someone, for example, and you want to follow up with them, just keep an eye out for these videos. I'll be posting them in a couple next weeks. Thank you so much to all the people who participated in this video, and shout out to you guys for letting me pick your brain and sharing your insight with me and taking the time. So without further ado, here's the video. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. If you found some value in this, please make sure to share it with someone who needs to see it, someone on Eboard, someone starting out on Eboard, just to get some insight, just to get some background. Who knows, it might help you in the long run. So thank you and enjoy.
When you do go for elections, make sure your speech is prepared. Like, practice it too.
A huge part of me was like, let me just try it, and people's judgments are not going to last forever. And in fact, it actually might just help me out later in the future.
Like, in general, there's so many people who do things for clout.
We understand like when to have fun, but like when we have to get work done, you know, and like how to prioritize.
You have to learn how to work with people, be considerate of other people's times, and just work to the best of your abilities.
It was really stressful trying to figure out like paperwork on top of like not having a budget, trying to figure out like the finances of everything.
There's just so much sacrifice you have to do. Even on top of this, you're still a student. You're still going to school.
Yeah.
My reasoning for wanting to be on Eboard was I wanted to take more responsibility in something that I care about, so I can give all that and more back because they gave me so much.
The fact that we did that, like we created that experience for everyone, you know, it's like such an honor to do that.
I feel like my biggest obstacle was being confrontational in a professional manner to someone who I was like, who was roasting me like an hour ago.
Right, like, again, like what piece of advice would you give to someone interested in running for Eboard?
I would tell someone to really think about what role you're going to run for.
Okay.
Because there are certain roles that aren't fit for certain people depending on like your work ethic and your time management skills. Being on Eboard takes a lot of your time up. Like, you don't realize how much time actually goes into planning things, because you have to plan literally like every single thing. There's a lot of moving parts. So if you know you're very organized and like you're very on top of things, then go for a position that caters to those things. You also have to be kind of considerate and know how to work with people who aren't like you, because that's something that I had to learn. Not everybody is like me. I'm very organized. I'm like, this needs to get done, this, and this in a timeline. But other people are more like, you know, relaxed. They're like, oh, I don't have to do that till later. And then it's like the night, like 11:50, and like this thing's due at 11:59, and we're like, oh my gosh, audio for Mr. PR is due now.
Yeah. How was your Eboard experience, and what would you say is like one thing that you've learned by being on Eboard?
Getting everybody organized, like that was the biggest thing, was trying to get everybody to be organized. So starting up group chats was a good thing for us, making sure everybody was connected. As treasurer, it was pretty tough because I had to do a lot with managing budgets and stuff, getting catering for events and everything, and budgeting was a really hard thing to do. You had to like write a whole list for the next year and like write down the budget, what you want to buy, show it to them, and like make sure it gets approved and everything. And it was kind of a headache, but like honestly, it was worth it because I learned a lot from it. I just learned what it takes to like, you know, be a leader in an organization, like how much work goes into these kinds of things.
Right. I think that's like not seen enough. Like,
Yeah, no, it's really not. You think that they're just placeholders, like people that are just up there, like
right, yeah, yeah.
the title and stuff, but it's not. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress on some people
Mhm.
too. Definitely, I know that myself.
Okay, one piece of advice this time for someone interested in running for Eboard.
If you're gonna run for Eboard, be prepared to like put in the work for it. Know that you really want to do it. The
Mhm.
organization needs members who are like dedicated to it to be able to do their job. You don't really want people that are like kind of half-assing it a bit. So you want people to like be dedicated to doing what they're supposed to do, making sure they're in contact with everybody.
Favorite part, there's also like the part that is the most challenging or the most difficult. What do you think that was for you, like being on Eboard?
At least my personal biggest thing, not even like with my e-board, my biggest thing was that my best friend was my vice president. So it was so hard to distinguish between professionalism
Okay,
and like colloquialism, like I feel like my biggest obstacle was being confrontational in a professional manner to someone who I was like, who was roasting me like an hour ago.
right, like,
like
like
exactly. Like it's just so hard it was hard for me to draw that line.
So I ask you, what are, I guess, like 3 ingredients you would say to a successful Eboard?
Transparency. I feel like that's, like I said, it doesn't matter what the problems are, it doesn't matter what anything is, you have to be transparent. As long as you're open with each other, that's all that matters. And along with that, humility is very important. At least for me, it's like a successful e-board is always one who does it for the club, not for themselves. Like there's so many people, at least not even just e-board and like ET wise. It's like in general, there's so many people who do things for clout, do things,
Right.
just to do something. It's like if you're not doing it, if you're doing it for yourself, then like there was no point in doing it. And I feel like just like having fun with it. Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, it's a job. It's something you should take seriously, but you're there to make memories. You're there to like make an experience. And as long as you remember, you're here to make the most of what you can and be able to look back and say like, I had a great time, then that's all that matters.
Earlier, like what piece of advice would you give for someone interested in running for Eboard?
My recommendation is build your self-awareness, because you want to be able to go into Eboard. It's a crazy experience due to the fact that you have a position and everyone can see you now because you have that position, like everyone's looking at you, whether it's from your own club or other clubs, because whether if you're president, secretary, and anyone, like once you're given that position, like people voted you for a reason, and so now they're expecting these things to happen. And so by building that self-awareness, you're able to put yourself in certain situations where you can maximize on your strengths and understanding where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. I'm not Superman, I'm not Batman. I can't do like 5 things or 100 things all at once. And so being able to understand that in itself can blossom not just yourself, but your whole e-board. Because if you could tell, once you know your strengths and weaknesses and build that self-awareness, that means you're capable of telling your own e-board members, oh, hey, Jordan, this is where I'm weak at, or this is where I'm good at. So then let's talk about my own weaknesses and figure out how we can plug in those holes and how you can be able to incorporate your strengths into areas where I'm weak. It's amazing to be successful and have a team with you rather than just to be successful and be alone. Like
Right.
that's
What do you think is like your favorite part about being on Eboard?
Being able to like inspire people, being the difference in somebody's life. Like people don't realize that like something as simple as like a club meeting on like a Tuesday, 12 to 2, can really make someone's day. The fact that Impact saved me, because I hated college, Impact was like what helped me, is what kept me going. Because I was like, okay, I can help other people. This club, for better or for worse, can like help other people. If Impact's not your thing, I'm not gonna force you to stay, but like, what about for the people who do need this, That's what I love about being on Eboard, just doing it for the people, like doing it for the general body,
For someone running for Eboard or thinking about running for Eboard, what is one piece of advice you'd give them?
When you plan events, you really don't know how it's gonna happen. Like you really don't know what's gonna happen. Like 5 people could show up, 50 people could show up, or like 4 people could show up. It's like a lot of fun, but it's also just a lot of work and it's a lot of stress. And there's gonna be a lot of times where you feel like I can't do this, but like you can do it. And I think even though certain events don't go the way you plan it,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean it's not successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like growing up throughout my years, like I really wasn't the one person that like say there was a position opening, right? I
Mhm.
was never the person that everyone always thought of like, oh, they'll be amazing fit for this, you know? Like I always saw myself wanting it, but I never actually got it, you know? So I always saw
Mhm.
myself as like someone who wanted to get it, but was never able to achieve it, you know? So honestly, I was just like, it's okay. You know, like I still care about the club. I'm still gonna be active. I'm still gonna give my 100% into something. Say like your time is like a pitcher of water, right?
Okay.
And then you can put those water in glasses and cups, right? The things you have to do. So it's eating, sleeping, and schoolwork, right? But
Yeah.
then you still have time, you know, you still have a lot of water left in these 3 cups. And then in your pitcher as well. So you get active in clubs. The amount of water is based on like how active you are. So as a general body member, you don't have to be that active, you know, it's come and go. So
Right.
you can fill water. And at the end of my freshman year, after the 1 semester, I still had like pretty much a lot of water left. As well as sophomore year, I was able to maintain it. But when I double e-boarded and in my junior year, when I had to focus on my academics as well,
Right.
a lot of my water went to academics and to making sure I slept and I ate, you know.
Mhm.
And then the fact that I had double e-boards, I had to put more water. But you know, you only have so much time. You only have so
Right,
much
right.
water that you can put into the cups where you would want to give more, but you know that you don't have enough time to.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted to put more, I couldn't. And having the opportunity of going into position of chairperson for D3, I was worried. I had a friend come up to me that I like regarded pretty high, and he was like, "No, I'm honestly scared for you." So going into this position, yes, I was scared at first, definitely, being that I had zero e-board experience prior, but honestly, I knew deep inside like I did have the potential, and I know I could definitely do it. And so much kudos goes to Jess, my co-chair for the summer and fall of 2019. I definitely learned a lot. She taught me how to say no, which was huge because all of Eboard knows I always said yes.
Yeah.
She taught me how to put my foot down, and sometimes you just have to make the decisions. What was hard was I had to understand I was in a position of power. So if something was going to go wrong, people were going to look to me for an answer. Like I can say like sometimes like I got frustrated with Eboard, but that was just because I wanted them to live up to my standard. Like,
Mhm.
oh, if I say something, I want like a response like immediately back. But I had to understand like people have class, people have to focus on their academics, people have to focus on this. So knowing that sometimes you can't just be Eboard at the end of the day.
What is one piece of advice you give?
You always want to enjoy it, you know, like I had so much more fun than I thought I was going to on D3
Yeah.
Eboard, and it's crazy. But I want to be friends with everyone on a personal level because then I felt like if they understood like where each person was coming from, we'd be able to respect each other as people, even more as like executive board members. Like know your intention for why you're doing this. Do it because you love it. Do it because you want to do it. So don't feel like you have to have an answer for everything, because it's not just you on the e-board. It's a collective amount of people working towards one goal.